My name is Juan Fuentes. I am the delegate of La Liga for the Nordic countries, and I am based here. I live in Denmark since 6 months ago, so we're very happy to be part of the conversation of the Danish sports community. So for you to understand who we are, because some people, they really don't understand who we are, La Liga is the top football division. Our shareholders are 42 football teams that are in the first and in second division of La Liga. You may know some of them, some of the biggest Spanish football brands such as Real Madrid and Barcelona, but we are 42 football clubs. Some of them are really big in a global stage, and some of them are really small. So La Liga runs the competition of the first and second division. But nowadays, since 10 years ago, La Liga started to change, and I'm not here to talk about what we are doing on the pitch, the success of La Liga on the pitch, which here you can see we won a lot of Ballon d'Ors, our football teams. We have won a lot of titles in terms of Champions League, and not only Real Madrid and Barça. Here we talk about clubs such as Atletico de Madrid or Sevilla, or even Villarreal competing in an international environment and winning or challenging some of the biggest football teams. What we would like to highlight and to talk about is about some other projects, because from La Liga we realized that we need to work on the pitch, but also off the pitch. So what we have worked in the recent years for La Liga is to become a digital and media powerhouse. Nowadays, if you follow La Liga on our social media platforms, we gather more than 134 million followers. We have more than 110 million people downloading our apps. We are one of the most recognizable and valuable brands in Spain. But we are also an e-sports league, a women football league, and a league with people with intellectual disabilities. So we developed some other projects aside of the core project that we have, which is La Liga First and Second Division, to grow as a competition and as a brand. And in this way of growing, we also tackle international expansion. And we realized that for us it was important to be outside of Spain, to grow internationally, but to be also part of the international sports community. So this was La Liga in 2016, and this is La Liga nowadays. We have more than 650 employees, and I am based in the red dot that you see in Copenhagen, but we have representatives of La Liga all over the world. And I will explain in a while why we are doing and what are we doing globally. I would like also to highlight some economic principles. I am not a coach. I was never a football player. I play football, but I study business and economy. And for me, this is one of the key challenges in sports, not only in football, in sports worldwide. And it's the difference of effectiveness and efficiency. And if you run associations or clubs, probably you may understand what I am talking about. So if we see what is effectiveness, it means the ability to produce a better result, one that delivers more value or achieve a better outcome. So what happens in the sports industry? We have football players, athletes, and we have clubs, coaches, and sports directors who are driven by effectiveness. Why? Because they need to deliver a result on the weekends or a result in the next match. And what happens to their mindset? They only think short term. And then on the other hand, we have another concept, which is efficiency, which is the ability to produce a result in the least waste of time, resources, and effort. And this is, from my viewpoint, what the leagues and the federation we should do. We should be efficient organizations. We need to think in the long term. In a way, the clubs and the athletes, they don't, because they are always focusing on the short term to achieve sports performance. And this is the role that we play in La Liga. That's why I wanted to highlight that it's a challenge for me, and I guess for the whole ecosystem, to have these two principles that sometimes they don't coexist in the best way. And to explain a little bit more about our strategy, I decided to come up with the business canvas model. It's a strategic model that is being used to explain any kind of economic activity of any company in any sector of the economy that consider different elements. And I'm going to describe in sports, but as well in football, what is happening nowadays with the elements that are critical to any business and organization. On the one hand, we have revenue streams, because we all need to generate revenue. What is happening? We all know the main revenue streams in the football and sports ecosystem. You have TV rights, you have commercial deals, you have match day. Depending on the federation is different. What is more relevant to you? If you're a club, might be different. TV rights might be more relevant, or sponsorships or match day. It depends a lot on the federation and in the activity. But more or less, these are the traditional revenue streams. What is happening, what we are doing in La Liga right now, is diversifying. And I will explain with some examples. We are jumping now to another activities that is not our core. And I will share some pictures. In Spain, we are opening La Liga football restaurants. In Spain, we are organizing La Liga football concerts. So we are developing in a way that we are not only relying on our core business, which is TV rights. What is happening in terms of customer segmentation? There are some challenges. Not every fan is a customer. We always speak about fans, but not every fan is paying a football t-shirt or a sports t-shirt from any club. Not every fan is going every weekend to the match day. So as managers, I think we have a challenge, is to convert sport fans in sports customers. And then there are new consumer habits. And for what I understood here, because my Danish is not yet good, you spoke about some of them. Outdoors activities. The new generations are engaging more in e-sports. This is something that us as sports organizations, we need to keep in mind. And of course, new windows. Social media is one of them. We work a lot in our social media platforms to have a huge amount of followers for exposure and as well for awareness. But what happens with this data? We have plus 70 million followers, La Liga in Facebook. But La Liga, we don't own that data. That data belongs to Facebook. So we need to have this in mind when it comes to social media. And then we need to do a proper segmentation, business to consumer, with business to fan, and business to business. When it comes to business, it will be these relations that we have with federations, with broadcasters, or with, for instance, a sponsorship. A sponsorship, as such, has changed a lot. Now it's more value-driven, data-driven, rather than stamping a logo in your T-shirt. So we need to understand that the customers' relations are changing. In La Liga teams, we have a lot of not only commercial department, but activations department, because we need to deliver more value and more value to our sponsors. Then, in terms of distribution channels, probably, and yesterday, I've seen in some presentations, we have seen FIFA inaugurating their own OTT platform. We are doing the same. There are new distribution channels that we need to be on. And then also, understanding the value proposition. Another challenge in the sports industry is that there are different needs that we satisfy. So we satisfy an athlete, the needs of an athlete that was the best performance. We need to satisfy the need of a fan that just wants to be entertained. We need to satisfy the need of a fan who really likes the sense of belonging to a community. So there are different needs, and each need requires a different approach. Then, when it comes to the cost structure, and here I'm going to talk about football, this is more specific in football, we are fighting a lot in La Liga, and I will share now some slides, because one main problem that we see is that the salaries are rising a lot. There is a big inflation in the salaries, motivated for what we call staying-on clubs. So what is happening, probably you know, with Manchester City and with PSG, we are completely against it, because we believe in terms of financial sustainability, it's going to be a big problem. Then in terms of resources, we have seen in La Liga and also in the French league that we have investment funds entering now as equity in our leagues. I don't know if you have read it, but CVC, one of the biggest investment funds in sports, entering La Liga, providing 2 billion euros for the clubs to grow. And in terms of activities, I always highlight this difference that I shared before. There is sport activities, which are driven by performance and short-term goals, and on the other hand, management activities. We need to find sponsorships, we need to bring people to the stadium, and the activities require different strategies. And in terms of partnerships, we need to understand that football is a multi-stakeholder partnership and quite complex. There are governing bodies, there are federations that are as well competing in the local markets. So this requires quite a lot of attention, and sometimes what we can see as competitors should be allies, and I'm going to share some examples as well of what we're doing in La Liga. This is, for instance, in terms of cost structure, what I was saying about raising salaries of players, inflation in football, because we see how clubs such as PSG or Manchester United are putting a lot of money that belongs to an state. As La Liga, we don't want this to happen. We want football to be financially sustainable, and we raise legal claims in courts of justice. And this is just some screenshots of relevant Danish newspapers about what we are doing. In terms of multi-stakeholder partnerships, and this is what I was mentioning about, don't look at your football competitors as competitors, because in many ways, we are allies. And this is, for instance, a battle that we won with the Premier League for piracy, to close some illegal streaming website. We have, of course, in governing bodies, the European leagues, where Premier League, together with La Liga, together with the Danish Superliga, we are board members trying to defend the interests of the leagues and the football in all the European countries. This is as well what I was saying in terms of channels. It was 2019 when, as La Liga, we launched our own OTT platform. So we try to foresee what is going to happen and try to anticipate and to be there for the new consumer habits. And this OTT platform that we developed, for us, for instance, is very relevant in Denmark and in the Nordic countries, for I guess for the sports community, because it's the regions in Europe and some of the regions in the world that use the most OTT platforms. So the consumers in this region of the world are very much engaged with OTTs. This is, in terms of customer relations, this is a benchmark that KPMG did, how we are working in social media, in terms of social media. So we really push our strategy to be, nowadays, we happen to be the football league with highest number of followers in social media. But, as I said, we have in consideration that we don't own this data. That's why we are developing also other strategies. In terms of revenue streams, this restaurant was open 2 months ago in Portaventura, in Alicante, one of the biggest amusement parks in Spain. We opened another one in Madrid. This is a music festival that La Liga celebrated a month ago in the stadium of Espanyol in Barcelona. So we are jumping into other different revenue streams and in other projects to expand our brand. And this is more or less the scheme of how we expand. We have believers, hardcore fans of La Liga, but then we try to touch and to tap fans through different projects. We have the Women Football League, the eSports League, we have La Liga Promises, La Liga Grassroots, La Liga Genuine, and then we go even farther. People who experience La Liga in a way, through our restaurants, through our music festivals, and then we go even farther, like an onion. And our goal is to try to bring those people that are in the upper layers, attracting them as a magnet to brand believers. And this is the global expansion plan of our brand. But many of these projects are as well revenue streams, and we are generating extra revenue. So what we say is what our strategy nowadays is from ice cream, from something that in Spain the kids can only take on the weekends, to bread. We want to be there every day for lunch, for breakfast, and for dinner. This is the concept that we developed. In terms of competitors, people ask me, so who is your biggest competitor? We don't consider right now a threat any football league in the world. We consider a threat new consumer habits and new platforms that are taking time and money from our audiences. And here I put the most relevant ones. So we have Disney+, HBO, Netflix, League of Legends, and other esports games. And to fight against it, because this is not as healthy as practicing or sports or watching sports, we develop different strategies. One is defensive, one is offensive, and the one I will elaborate on is collaborative. It's synergetic, and this is the one that we are defending here in Denmark and in the Nordic countries. Defensive, okay, there is this new distribution channels. We will have our own. Offensive, we are going to do an esports league. And collaborative, we will collaborate with all the sports ecosystem worldwide to make sports better. This is our strategy when it comes to creation of a league, an offensive strategy to fight against League of Legends. We have done our esports league, and this is the results of the last edition. 70,000 registered users, players, and very young audience as well. This is our defensive strategy. There is new platforms, Netflix, HBO, that are taking time and understanding consumer behaviors. We are going to do the same. We are going to build our OTT platform, and we're going to understand how many hours of content our consumers watch, and so on and so forth. And the collaborative strategy, which is my best, and this is something I want to say clear, in football, our international strategy is to become the second most football league anywhere we go after the local leagues. That's why we are opening collaborations with leagues and federations worldwide. Our strategy in sports is to open our know-how in La Liga, to share all the things that we are doing with the sports ecosystem. And in entertainment is to widen our audience and our product with all of these projects that I shared before. La Liga restaurants, La Liga music festivals, and so on. So when it comes to collaboration, internationally, we use what we call a 360 ecosystem approach. So we identify, in every single country we go, all of the sports stakeholders. I am sure all of you here belong to some of these bubbles, and if not, please come and tell me, because I am updating this every time. So we, in every country, talk with all of these stakeholders, and we try to find synergies, how we can collaborate together, how we can create projects together and an added value together. And in the center, of course, we have fans and athletes. And we develop what we call an user or USB approach. We understand a stakeholder business or understand a stakeholder objectives in case there is no business. And we try to collaborate. And now I will explain you which kind of collaborations we do or we have done. We collaborate a lot with media because they bring us awareness and exposures. We collaborate a lot football projects. We have a grassroots department, and we collaborate internationally with leagues and federations. Technological programs, projects, educational projects. We collaborate in gender equality and with our broadcasters. In terms of media platforms, we understand sports media, but we also understand there is general media that they are not specialized in sports, and we have a proactive approach towards them, and we try to generate as well synergies and to see how we can deliver them value with content. This is, for instance, something we have done with Ball.dk. We provide them content of the stadiums of La Liga for their audience to be aware when is the next Real Madrid match and where is Real Madrid going to play. In Eibar, okay, here we have a look to the Eibar Stadium. Same, being internationally in the Nordic countries allow us to understand who is relevant in which market. So we know Daniel Bass is very relevant to the Danish community, to the Danish football community. So when he signed with Atletico Madrid, we were able to send press release and an interview to the Danish media. So this gives us as well awareness in non-sport media platforms, such as the ones that you can see here. When it comes to football projects, we have a football department with several coaches, La Liga coaches, and our own developed methodology, and we try to help globally to develop football. We do that because we understand we need to promote sports and football and developing healthy habits, and we have in La Liga a sports department that runs projects globally. We have different kind of projects. We have projects with NGOs, we have projects with federations, we have projects with leagues, we have projects of coaching education that we do internationally and in Spain as well. We have trained more than 20,000 coaches, more than 175,000 players through 400 projects. And this is a project that we are doing, for instance, in Sweden, collaborating with Svensk Elite Football, bringing coaches from Sweden to meet coaches from La Liga. And they are with them for one day, and they share know-how. they have visited already more than 8 clubs. They have been to Sevilla, to Cádiz, to Athletic Bilbao. So this is why we call collaborative strategies, because for us it's important, like you are doing here, to engage with different sports ecosystems and to see how we can grow together. It's all about synergies. We develop projects in Spain. This year, we are going to launch with the American NBA La Liga training facilities. It's a facility that is going to be in Madrid, and it's opening this summer. And we're going to have educational programs. We are having already training stages from different clubs. It can be high performance or lower performance. We have in Spain, in this facility, coaches available, monitoring and evaluation methods and softwares, professional services, nutritionists. We organize friendly matches of the visitors clubs with La Liga clubs. So we are really trying to boost the sports and football and to share everything we have, from methodology to facilities and so on. When it comes to innovation, we became a really digital league back in 2016. We understood the value of being digital, and we developed a lot of digital assets and a lot of software internally that now, since a year ago, through La Liga Tech, it's available to the sports ecosystem. And this is La Liga Tech. The 3 pillars where La Liga Tech focuses is in fan engagement, in content enhancement, and competition management. Because we built an OTT, now we are able to build OTTs and to help other sports organizations to do it. We developed our own anti-piracy system. Now we put it to the availability of other sports organizations. We have our own metrics software in terms of match analysis. We have an a match fixing as well software. We have competition management software to choose the key, to choose the right calendar for every single match. And now we are working worldwide with different partners, not only in football. We are working in football, for instance, with the Belgian Football Association, but we are working as well with the World Padel Tour, for whom we developed their own OTT platform. We are working in the US with American baseball. We are working as well in Chile with the football associations. So in every country, we try to engage, and we like to engage with the sports ecosystem. And if anyone finds in this an added value, we are eager to collaborate. And how we build all of this ecosystem in terms of fan engagement is something that it took us many years. First of all, we build digital assets, and that is official website, OTT platform, an official app, a fantasy game. Then we establish a system which is single sign-on. So all of this information of all of these fans goes only through one door. Then we understood and we profile every single fan. So we understand who they are, what they like and what they don't. And after doing this, we are able, through a CRM, to deliver data to our sponsors. So this is more or less how we have identified every single fan and person that registers in La Liga digital ecosystem. Their age, where they live, what they follow, what they like, what they don't, where do they travel. And with this data nowadays, and I spoke at the beginning, we are able to deliver to sponsors that nowadays they are more interested in value than in awareness. And this is, in the last years, how, commercially speaking, we have grown and the revenue we generated in terms of commercial agreements. And this is things that we developed in-house, but we try to be open as well And so we have programs of open innovation, and now we have a global call for startups that has solutions in fan engagement. So if any of you knows or you are representing any startup working in sport tech in fan engagement, we have a call for applicants because we want to improve fan engagement in La Liga. Then when it comes to quality education, we have a business school. It's the educational department of La Liga. We have different programs there in Spanish and English in Spain, and we develop as well internationally alliances with universities, and we like to be part of the conversation in educational institutions, in sports management institutions. We were here, for instance, we are working in Finland with Jyväskylä University. Here I was invited as well by UCN to give a speech about La Liga international strategy. So we like to engage with educational institutions working in sports, and with some entities, we also develop courses that are relevant to the market. So we are even able to collaborate to educate sports management leaders. And we also have a program where we invite different leagues, federations, universities to come to Spain for 3 and 4 days to La Liga headquarters to meet our managers, our club managers, in relevant things to each stakeholder that we work with. And we collaborate with federations, with leagues, with cities. Anyone that thinks that is an added value to come to Spain to a study trip and to share, for us to share with them what we are doing in the different departments. This is, for instance, the local government of Israel a month ago. They brought all the clubs of basketball in one of the cities of Israel because they wanted to learn how we are managing basketball in Spain. It's not only about football. In Spain, we are able to provide and to share knowledge in all the sports in the country. These are some metrics of the business school, all the things that we have done with this department. And another one that I think is very relevant here is the gender equality. I know that there is an important match on the 24th that I think is going to be a really important as well step for women football here in Spain. Some months ago, we broke this record, bringing 91,000 people to a football match, and I've been asked many times, how have you done it? What I said and what I say, as I say before, it's not a matter of La Liga, or it's not credit of Barcelona or of Real Madrid. It's a matter of everyone. In terms of women's sports, all the ecosystem, we try to collaborate to make women's sports better, to generate more awareness. And I'm going to put a video which is an example of how we try to generate more awareness of the Spanish population about women's sports. This is, to me, really relevant. This is Televisión Española, which is a Spanish national broadcaster, prime time when you watch the TV news. When it comes to sports, the highlights of the match or what is coming, what happens is the first thing they talk about is women football. And then, after women football, you will see Real Madrid, you will see Modric, Benzema training, and then you will see Rafa Nadal. So why is relevant this for me? Because the national broadcaster of Spain is trying to generate awareness into the women football phenomenon. And what happens is, as a fan, it happens to me a couple of times. I go to a bar, I sit in a bar, and I hear the conversation. Did you see today the highlights of in the TV news of the goal of Benzema? And I've heard a couple of times, yes, but did you watch the girl scoring? They saw the highlight of the girl before. Her goal was better than the man goal. And then you go with Rafa Nadal as a third in the third position. So these kind of collaborations generates a lot of awareness and about the quality of women football. Internationally, we have a women football department. I don't know if Nicolai is here, but we also work with federations and leagues in different projects, and we started with Sweden, and I know the director of women football has been in touch pretty much with Nicolai, the director of women football here in the DBU, to try also to share know-how and to see how we can collaborate together. And of course, internationally, we also collaborate with broadcasters, and our broadcasters in the region here is TV2, and in Norway, Finland, and Sweden the year before, and Seymour, in different ways, trying to organize events to try to bring value to the fans and as well the bars that they pay a lot for the TV rights. So sometimes in Sweden, sometimes we do it here in Copenhagen with the Madridista.dk, which is the official fan club of La Liga. We try to generate value internationally through these kind of events to our broadcasters, which is our main partner. I mean, it's been a lot of information, I know, but my message here that I want to share with you is La Liga is in Denmark. As you could see, we are an ecosystem that is open door and flexible. We like to engage, we like to collaborate, of course, with our counterparts, but with any sports institution. We like to share, and we are really welcoming any project, any meeting, and we really like to engage with federations, with cities, with universities, with startups, to generate value for the sports ecosystem. It can be in education, in technology, in football development, or in any other area as well. NGOs, we are talking with some as well. And from my side, this is it. I live in Copenhagen, I am based there, and I am eager to meet and talk about the sports industry. There you have some data of mine. Happy to connect in LinkedIn, and thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here these 2 days, and really happy to be part of the conversation.